Okay, hi everyone. I think we're actually live on Facebook, and that is very unusual because I've been told that you can't do it. Maybe it's because I own Women of Light. So good morning, everyone, and I'm hoping that we're actually on live. So if you can say hi in the comments, we can't see you anyway because we're on Zoom. We would love for you to give us some feedback if you are on live, because Irene would be able to have a look and see if it's going live or not, but it says it's going live. So welcome everyone. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and the little bell and you'll be notified every time we jump on. We're just building up our library at the moment, so there'll be new stuff coming on a regular basis. And we are here on Women of Light Facebook group with the beautiful Mandi Stevenson, and we're talking about this new breakthrough information. So a little bit of science this morning with us. Good morning, Mandi. How are you?
Good morning, Elizabeth. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. And it does look like we're live on Facebook, so that's exciting.
I know. Isn't it crazy?
Surprising.
Yeah. So it seems to be, I'm just wondering if we are
It is live. It is.
Okay.
I just had a look.
Okay, awesome. Excellent. Well, there you go. We are conscious creators, Mandi. Because
Very
I had someone
created that one.
Yeah, well, I had someone message me last night in a freak out because they couldn't get on onto a Facebook to live stream. And I noticed another group that I'm in, they had the same problem, and it said, oh, it's just something that's going on with Facebook. You can't do it anymore. Well, here we are, beams of light.
It could have been anything last night. It could have been internet. It could have been, problems with their systems.
I've heard that it's actually some new thing, that there's a new permission being, you need to have new permission. But we'll see. Maybe because I'm admin and these guys weren't or something. I have no idea. So
who knows?
Very exciting anyway that we can do it.
It worked. Yeah.
So Mandi, tell us a little bit about Redox Molecules and what, like, it sounds interesting. What is it that Redox Molecules are?
Okay, well, in the late 90s, there were 3 scientists who actually won Nobel Prizes for identifying and discovering redox molecules. So it's a very new area of science. So, and redox molecules are produced in every cell of the body. So the mitochondria within the cell are the little powerhouses of the cell, and they produce energy. So we know that they produce energy, and they've used glucose and ketones to produce energy for ever since. Everybody's known that. Mm-hmm. And they always thought that these other little molecules that were floating around, like peroxides and hyperoxides and hypochlorites, etc., were a waste product. But, if anybody knows anything about the human body, they know that the human body doesn't produce waste products just for nothing. So they finally identified that these fleeting little molecules were like the electricity in the cell. So once again, the power in the mitochondria, the powerhouse. And every one of the 70 trillion cells in the body, I don't know who counted them really, but
yeah.
There's an awful lot of them. So every one of those produces redox molecules. And what they discovered was that these redox molecules are actually the cell signals. They signal to other cells. So first of all, they'll identify. They communicate.
Right. Yeah, which we know that cells communicate with each other. So these molecules.
We didn't know how.
Okay.
So that was, why does one cell decide that another cell decide that it wants to reproduce that cell or as that cell or morph into that cell, So how do stem cells get their information? So this is where it sort of really does go back down to the absolute fundamentals of cell science, cellular science and cellular health.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really interesting, actually. I saw an image the other day, and I don't know if it was from you or somebody else, but it showed it showed up a close up, as close as they possibly can in technology at the moment, of the intricacies of a cell, and it just looked like a little city, and
Yeah,
you know, like it
I
just,
think I might have shared that. Yeah,
it most probably was your image. Like
yeah. So
it just looked, and it just made me think about, you know, as
the
above, so
microcosm is
below.
macrocosm.
Yeah, and like what's the consciousness there, and what's, you know, like it's just very fascinating. Like are we a cell on somebody else's body, you know, like
Absolutely.
up, you know, like
Yeah,
just,
yeah, that's
just
exactly
don't
right. And,
know,
you know, and it
right?
does go right down to that. You know, if you look at an aerial view of a city and you look at the aerial view of a body, you've
Yeah,
got all of those, the channels, the communication channels, the waste channels, the transport channels, all of those things in a
yeah,
body,
yeah,
as well as the city. But
yeah,
every cell has all of those too. So,
yeah,
and I mean, it's absolutely, I've always been fascinated by science anyway. So
yeah, me
it just
too.
really is something that's fascinated me to sort of see that, you know, as you say, as above, so below. It's just,
Yeah.
and the
And
intelligence.
so, and so I'm assuming that redox cells, like the redox molecules, the more we have of them, the more um we actually, our cells can be healthy and vital. And like, what, give us a little bit of an idea of when they're functioning at their optimum.
Okay, well, when we're young, we produce lots of them. You know, a child produces a lot, and that's why a child heals really quickly. You
Yeah.
know, they graze themselves, and 2 days later, you can barely see where the graze is, sort of thing. You know, but the older we get, every decade, we lose about 10% of the ability to produce these redox molecules. So as they reduce, illness is actually a manifestation of an imbalance in the redox molecules as well.
Okay.
So the RED is the reduction side of it, which is actually a bit like chronic inflammation of some sort. And the OX is oxidation, which is the stress side of it. So while ever they're in balance, the body's healthy and well. But when they get out of balance, the body doesn't have, if it doesn't have enough of these redox molecules, it doesn't have the ability to restore that balance, to restore our good health. So,
Okay.
you know, examples of reduction, oxidative stress is sort of, you know, things like hypertension and heart disease and that sort of thing, and diabetes, etc. Whereas the reduction is more like your arthritis and chronic inflammation and autoimmune disease and that sort of thing. So that's where we need the balance. And you can see in our society, there's so many of these diseases that are popping up. And of course, they're all damaged by the toxicity of our environment and, you know, the toxic lives that a lot of people lead. So
emotional stress and the stuff that we're putting in our bodies, and absolutely. And I know that you you know, if people want to get in contact with you, you've got a product that you sell or you distribute that supports to create more.
Well, it actually is redox molecules. It doesn't actually support the body to create them. It actually supplements them. So, I mean, it took them 18 years to stabilize these molecules. So, as I said, they were discovered in the 90s, but it wasn't until 2010 that they were actually able to stabilize these molecules in a supplement form, because they're so volatile. They just, as soon as they triggered very quickly. So as soon as they hit anything organic or even fresh air, they start to sort of destabilize or you know, become salt and water, which is what basically in our cells is salt and water.
Yeah, that's right.
So, so it's a real breakthrough. It's a breakthrough in science, and I think there's over 100,000 peer-reviewed papers now on redox molecules, and there's actually an association, the International Association of Redox, because they've just really discovered that this is a huge breakthrough and a brand new area of science. But lots of study needs to be done, of course, on how they can actually, you know, we can supplement our body and know that we're actually getting more of these redox molecules. So we're doing the job. But scientists, of course, and the medical profession want to know exactly where and why and how, and narrow it down to the smallest detail as they do reductionist stuff. So.
And isn't it interesting how, like, I'm just looking, just as you're talking, I'm thinking about that, you know, there's such a great divide in society at the moment, with such ill health in all areas, depression, anxiety, you know, like we're getting this
mental and
separation on one side, where people are becoming more and more unconscious to their ability to create their own reality, right? Us being on live.
Or their body's ability to
Thought
heal.
I'd mention it again.
consciously
Yes,
creating.
right.
Yes.
But then we've got, people that have got, so much baggage happening, and it's, generational, and it's, and all of those things. And then
but they also don't understand the body's ability to heal itself.
Absolutely, because we're being told to, we're influenced outside of ourselves that someone's looking after us, and that's not the case. We're bombarded with chemicals throughout everything that we do,
Absolutely.
But on the other side, we've got all these amazing light working experiences happening where people are waking up and people are having these experiences, and scientists and doctors and and therapists on all these levels to shift and heal and support people to find themselves and understand how their body works and start working with it.
Absolutely. And I think what's exciting is actually I've been working with Dr. Gary Samuelson, who's the atomic medical physicist who stabilized these molecules, and he is such a gentle light worker. And just working with him and his passion to get these sort of nanotechnologies out, natural nanotechnologies out into the world, because he sees this is where it's going to make such a huge difference. And I asked him at one stage, because as a kinesiologist I feel energy flows when I'm working with clients, and I said to him, so what I'm feeling when I'm feeling those tingling in the bodies, I said, is that redox? And he said, absolutely. So it's really lovely to know that you can actually physically feel this redox stuff happening. I mean, a little exercise, if you actually clap your hands, then you feel the tingling in your body, in your fingers.
Yeah.
You feel the tingling because you've just damaged, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of cells there. And the redox and the redox is working. So, it's a very simple thing. So, it's such a real thing in your body. So it's just it's so lovely to know that that's what you actually can work on and improve. So,
So, that's so true.
Yeah, the amazing things about them is that they actually detect, and that's when they're working there, they detect if a cell's damaged or if it's healthy or not. And they determine, do we need to protect that cell or do we repair or replace it? And that's basically their role. But it's a really important role.
But
they send the signals out to release antioxidants, to release an inflammatory response or whatever's needed. So that's when they start to send the messages.
And so while we're here talking, I know that you have you just released it, or it's like this close? You've got a book that you're releasing.
My book, and I have it in my hot little hand. I have one copy in my hot little hand. So I've got my book launch on the 1st of May. So I'm very excited. Yes.
That's awesome. And so tell us a little bit about your book. What's in your book?
Well, I started off and
we need to know a little bit about you, right? Like tell us because you just said you were a kinesiologist. So
yes. So I started I've had 4 kids and I've got 10 beautiful grandchildren. And I had them very young, started very young. So, and we lived on a farm in Bombala. So we were farmers for 35 years on a large grazing property there. And so there wasn't a lot of opportunity to follow my passion to become a doctor, which is what I'd always wanted to be. So I'll start from the beginning. I'll try and be brief. But after I'd had my 4 children, I then started studying science externally, because that was the only opportunity I had to study. So, and I've always been passionate about biology, so I studied biology. But living in a rural area and having a background in business management before that, I fell into working with farmers and agricultural and resource management and environmental management. So I did that for 35 odd years. And then, a bit of a slap in the face, I had a heart attack. So I thought I was quite well and I was doing all the right thing nutritionally and things. But anyway, that's another story. I had a heart attack, and that gives you a bit of an aha moment and makes you decide, what are my priorities in life and where do I really want to go? So I decided I would follow my own passion of human health and studied. But I was also very fascinated by the psychology of illness, why people get what they get. And why is it that some people have heart attacks and somebody will get diabetes, and why does, that sort of thing.
Why do these things, where do they stem from? Yeah,
exactly, the emotional background to all of these things. So hence kinesiology. I didn't want to go down the role of diagnosing, because I felt that the body's far more intelligent than anybody trying to tell you what you have, and I don't like labels.
Yes. Yeah.
So I went down the kinesiology line. So yes, so I'm a practicing kinesiologist, and I've also added spinal flow to that.
We've spoken about that. Spinal flow is something I've seen sponsored. Fabulous. Yeah, I've seen it come up, and I haven't, like, I'm now out of massage, but if I was still massaging, it would have been something I would have jumped into.
Yeah, it's wonderful, because it's a very gentle, but it also identifies where the emotional blocks are held in the spine, in the body. So our body hides them in little rooms. I call them little rooms. And by identifying and energetically, you can sort of identify. You can also physically see where the blocks are by people's posture, etc. So you identify where those blocks are, and actually draw attention to those blocks, draw the brain's attention to those blocks, as if to say, there's something going on here, deal with it. Don't hide it, deal with it. So it's quite a profound modality, actually. So
so where do you live, Mandi, just in case?
Back to square one. I live in Paradise. I live in Merimbula on the far south coast in New South Wales.
Oh, awesome. Merimbula, that's right. Yeah. And so anyone that lives in the area might want to get in contact with Mandi.
Yeah, Bega Valley, Monero, any of those sort of places. Even Canberra, people come down. So we have a B&B so they can come and stay and have some treatments and things too. So.
Oh, there you go. That's beautiful. And so just by the way, I finally decided where, like, I haven't moved yet, but I've been, where is it that I want to move to? Where am I, like, because I feel like I want to live near a beach. And so, and so I finally came up with a solution, like with a location, and I'm looking at Kiama.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
So how close is that to you? That's not...
Oh, it's about 4.5 hours.
Oh, okay. So still...
You can't pop down for an hour, but you can pop down and have a night.
Yeah, I was thinking
I'm sure we can fill the time in.
Yeah, I really want to check out Spinal Flow. So what is your book about? Is that...
So having been through all of those challenges and journeys that I had, and also all the studies that I've done in so many different ways, I had so much up here. And I decided I really needed to get it out and put it. So it was about leaving a legacy for my grandchildren in some way. So it starts off with, I've done a lot of searching or study on identifying self and personalities and what makes you tick and that sort of thing, and communication. So it starts off with a study of self in a journey. And I'd like to take people through a journey. So it's about discovering your aha moments, because it's my aha moments through the book. So it's called Shazam. Yeah. And I have no idea where that name came from, but it was one of those conscious creation things.
Yeah.
That was the name of the book.
Inspiration,
It had to be the name of the book. And it was about discovering your aha moments and taking that quantum leap. So each of the letters in Shazam relates to a part of the journey. So the S is for self and soul and searching for what makes you tick. And the H is about health and happiness. Yeah. So I'd take, there's a whole chapter on health itself and the keys to health and what makes you and keeps you healthy. There's also a chapter for redox as well. So that's all part of the whole health journey. And then we go into authentic speak and communication and attitude. And Z is for zapping the negative and zinging through life. So there's a lot about kinesiology and energy and meridians and chakras and things like that in it too. So it's all part of the whole body. What makes you tick? What makes you unique you? And then we go into taking action. So developing what I like to call a treasure map. I don't like to see the map or an action plan. I like to see a treasure map, because it's about looking for your own vision and your own treasure at the end. Yeah. And then we finish off with the magic of the universe and the magic of belonging. So
that's fantastic.
So
So if anyone wants to get in contact with you about your book, about Redox, anything like that, I'm assuming they can friend you and
they can
just
certainly do that.
You.
Yes, they can friend me. It's Mandi Stevenson on Facebook. I also have a website, which is mandistevenson.com.
Okay, so when we finish this, if you can jump in and put it at the bottom, we'll
Sure.
also put it at the bottom of the YouTube as well. So,
Yep. Thank you.
And people can talk to you, do a quick, 20-minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I offer, 30-minute free discovery chat call, because I've just started developing online courses to go with the book. So the book will actually be like the manual for the online courses.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
the first one's about lifting your vibes, and just a very short, quick, easy mini course on lifting your vibes and fly.
Basically. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Well done. And
it's
so I generally ask, and sometimes I forget, but I generally ask the women that I ask to interview if you've got some wisdom for us for our Wednesday wisdom. Have you got a piece of wisdom? I know I've just thrown it at you like that, but
I thought I'd been sharing my wisdom for the last half hour.
You have, yeah.
Yeah, no, I guess I have a lovely little piece and it's probably a little bit of a signature, because there's a beautiful story about the 3 questions that was written by Leo Tolstoy, but it's about, who's the most important person in your life, what's the most important time, and what's the most important thing to do. So I guess my little gem of wisdom is be present with the person you're with 100%. Be in the present, in the now, and do whatever you're doing with 100% love.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love it.
That's my little gem of wisdom I'll leave you all with.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love it. Thank you so much. And I'm so excited that we were able to do this as a live.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Yeah.
So take care. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Thank you.
If you're watching the replay, throw in some comments. And apparently you can comment in YouTube as well. I didn't know that, but comment in YouTube if you'd like as well.
That's exciting.
We'll take care and we'll catch up next time.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for listening. It's been lovely talking to you. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.